What up, everyone? Sorry I'm late. Welcome to another episode of Water for the Thirsty, the word simply, the word refreshing. We are here tonight with Kenrick and Jerry from far, far away. And since the last time we met together, we've been watching David do a dance with Saul. We've been listening to some of the songs from the playlist. And we've been listening to Mark tell a story from being a little bit removed from it. Mark is an interesting read. But I've been getting into David and Saul a lot this week. I had a whole lot of notes coming out from there. Well, I'm interested to hear what Kenrick saw from our readings in First Samuel, um, Mark, and Psalms since the last time we got together.
Um, Yo, what's up, man? Good to see y'all.
Same.
Sure.
Um, so I think we've done this for 12 years now. So I'm sure some of the things that we talk about maybe repeated, whatever. You call them out a year two, and they may hit different in year 10. I don't know. But the idea. So in Mark 5, 6, 7, I can't remember what it was. I'll bring up my notes. The idea that belief is really
That belief is what?
belief is really is crucial to this thing.
Mm.
Hold on. Before I do it, I gotta pull out the thing. So, Sharon here? What?
Yeah.
She heard you call her name from
She got
backstage.
the hall pass. Well, not the hall pass. Not the hall pass. Not that one. But Mark 6. Mark 6.
All right.
So that whole chapter is interesting to me. And the thing that stood out to me, so I'll start with what stood out to me and then kind of back into it. And I think it was later on in the chapter. So this is the chapter where I think he's feeding the 5,000.
In Mark 6? No. Yes.
I think he's feeding the 5,000. Yeah, he feeds it later on. Like it's like it talks about the death of John. I think he's feeding the 5,000. Then you have the storm and all that. What stood out to me was verse. Oh my gosh, why can't I find it? Verse 52.
Okay.
So Mark 6, verse 52. And it said, "For they still didn't understand the significance of the miracle of the loaves." And
Mark doesn't explain it either.
well, but you kind of can deduce.
Yeah, but if you are like the disciples, you lost at it too. You're like, well, what is it? But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, yes, but what you realize is that in the entire thing, he's talking about belief.
Okay.
Like these guys just didn't. Not that they knew, but like there was a lack of belief. And it was like the emphasis was on belief versus unbelief, because I think this is the same chapter where he was where he went back to Nazareth.
Okay.
Right? And it was like he couldn't perform the miracles that he wanted to do because the people lacked belief. Then it goes down and you start going through, and then it gets down to the feeding the 5,000, right? And then you have the disciples where Jesus, it's not even like they brought it up. Like Jesus asked, "How are we going to solve this joint?" And they were like, "We don't have enough money. It will take us 6 months to like," and lack of like, and then the crazy thing was like Jesus then sent them off. He was like, "I'm tired of these dudes. Like y'all Bamas go off. I'm gonna go talk to my father. I'm gonna spend time, recharge. I'm gonna walk out to y'all." And then they're going through the same thing, and then they then again lack belief, and that's when he then brings up again, like y'all didn't get the 5 loaves and the 2 like so when I'm going through it, I'm just like, man, like this thing really like it centers around this idea. This whole chapter centered around the idea of belief and belief versus unbelief. Like either you believe.
It goes back to chapter 4, but yes.
I
would argue it goes all the way back to 4 as well, or maybe it's the whole book. But I want to push and ask, belief abstractly or belief in something specific? And are we truncating it and saying belief in this or belief about that, or is it just belief abstractly? And what is it they were supposed to believe?
No, I don't think it's belief abstractly. I think it was very clear at least in this chapter, it was very clear, like there was a lack of belief in who I am. Dang. Wow. Like shots fired off break?
I saw it then.
I'm so confused. What was that about?
I think they mispronounced or mistyped your name.
Oh, me? You mean Sharika? I stay hungry. Ain't no shame in my game, friends. Everybody on this thing know. If it ain't no food,
what are you eating?
I was eating everything bagel.
Oh. Is that a thing? Like everything bagel?
Mm-hmm. They got everything on it. Sesame, poppy, salt, pepper, like the everything seasoning on a bagel.
I don't know what that is.
Wow.
Sounds interesting.
You never had it either?
I don't know what everything. I don't know what everything bagel is.
You've had it, Jerry?
Yeah.
It's everything.
It's
Jerry,
everything.
that's what I see next time. I gotta one.
Yeah.
Look me up because I haven't had that one.
Like salami, like stripples, like.
Pardon?
Yeah, stripples and salami.
Like, stripples and salami. Like I don't. Like everything. Like what's everything? You just name 4 things.
Like so every possibility for bagels is on this bagel.
Cream cheese.
Raisins.
Right. So thanks, 300 Adam B. See all of these little all the seed toppings that could be on a bagel, so you can get a sesame bagel or a poppy seed bagel or a whatever. They're all on the same bagel at this point.
Okay, so it's not everything; it's just whatever that
bagel,
thing is.
The bagel, everything. Mm.
It's whatever. All of the potential toppings that you can get on you can buy on a bagel is on this one bagel.
But not cream cheese.
You don't buy bagel with cream. You don't bake a bagel with cream cheese.
Okay, I'm just asking. I'm just.
You can put cream cheese on it because I put cream cheese on it and strawberry jam.
Okay. I'm just trying to.
No, but I'm gonna have to bring you one. Another reason for me to leave the country. I gotta bring you one. I gotta bring.
But you're leaving soon, right?
Yeah, but you messed up and went last week, and we were supposed to go next week.
I did. We'll figure it out. Anyway.
But anyway, if 300 Adam B. If we were friends in real life, if there ain't no food, I ain't showing up. So there gotta be food, and I'll be hungry.
Big back.
And I'm probably gonna have another thing before this thing is over. I ain't gonna hold you ice cream cone or something. Like get into it. Nobody else is surprised.
No. I didn't even look. I saw you eating, but didn't
even notice.
It doesn't register. It doesn't register.
Didn't even think twice.
Is that water? Is that water or a smoothie? Like
this is water.
Are you chewing your drink or you're?
This is water. I didn't have enough water today. I think I only took down like 32 ounces. That's not enough. So.
Okay.
I'm doing water, but again, ice cream cone, icy, liable in the next hour and a half.
Wow. The disciples are seeing
Batman is bringing us back
for the first time. Their old understanding is being confronted.
The spirit of the world. So 5K, nothing is different from water walking.
So I went trying to figure out what in the Greek it meant. I'm not gonna try to butcher it. I think it's poro is the word used.
Was that?
And the poro for hardened. When the expression it says it hardened their heart. But their hearts were hardened, because in the ESV it actually reads they did not understand about the laws, but their hearts were hardened. So it's like, it's not that there wasn't enough. The implication is it's not that there wasn't enough information for them to understand. It's just their hearts were so hard they couldn't receive it. And poro is like the heaviness of an elephant's foot. It's thick with all these layers of rubbery skin that make it impossible to have dexterity or feeling. So it's like there's abundant reason to believe, but your heart
believe
is so
what? And that's what I'm asking. Are we just
yes, right. So believe in believe that he is exactly who he says he is.
Like he's everything.
Believe his identity.
His identity, because what they're doing is believing in what he can do for them. So he's going to be this earthly king. Somebody's going to get to be the minister of finance, the head of the IRS, whatever, right? They've narrowed down his identity to things he can do for them, as opposed to appreciating this is the word made flesh who's about to revolutionize everything for you, give you a shot at salvation, blah 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 blah. I'll
actually push back. I don't even know if they've like. So one of the things I kind of process through is like, and it's something that I do, right? So what I do is this about drinking water? Really?
No, it is called water for the thirsty, but it's the water of the word of life for us people who want to experience, who are thirsty for the word of life. We just happen to sidetrack towards.
But we can drink water.
Drinking of water that Sharika was doing because she was eating food and then she brought her bottle to, but it's not about drinking water.
Yeah.
And
literally,
and
literally.
Wine.
Yeah.
And wine. Like you could water, but anyway, whatever.
Yeah.
So I guess my thing is, so what I've realized about myself, and I kind of see it in these guys here, is that you believe you can do the things that you can do. So it like what their idea and their solution would have been 100% what I would have thought, right? When it came to feeding the 5,000, it was like, all right, how are we going to feed these people? Well, how much money we got? Like, let's put our money together and go buy right? Because those are things that I can, we can figure out and try to solve, right? And until we get to the end of that solution and we realize that we can't solve it, is only when we then rely and ask for help, right? Where it seems to me, where it was like, why would you go through that process before you have me here already?
But who do I have here? I think that's the problem.
But I think that's the thing. Like you have this guy. So they didn't understand who Jesus was. I 100% agree with that. They also, and Jesus was very, very, he understood who he was, because even in the act of, after he taught these people and sent these Bamas off, he then had to go back and spend time with his father. He knew where his source was. They didn't understand any of that. Right? And so I don't think they understood who he was. So the belief that he's talking about is like in him and the connection to his father. I'm the way, the truth. Like it was that. That's what he's trying to get them to understand. And so when he sends them off and then he walks out to them and he makes a reference about the loaves, he's tying it all in. It's like, listen, I'm the same dude that broke the loaves and provided fish for all these people. I'm the same dude that then calmed the seas and solved this. But because you don't get that, you don't get this. And that's what he's trying to get them to understand.
So I think we were circling some of the same thing this week because I listed Mark 4 and 8 to come to some of the same point. And what I added on to what you are saying is it showed up in 4 when they said, who is this that even the wind and the waves obey him? Right? They didn't understand who he was. And I remember sometime we were reading Isaiah 43. I only remember it's 43 this week because I went back to my notes to find it, right? We were reading Isaiah 43 and I realized that about 3 or 4 things God wants us to know about him or that he's revealing to us. So let's read it and then I'll tell you what it is. And I think we can tie that into what we're talking about. So Isaiah 43.
We're reading Isaiah 43.
And then we'll come back to Mark. I remember when I first read this, I was like, oh man, that's powerful. And I kept it. It was in a slightly different context, but it was the same takeaway.
She was like, are we talking about water?
Yeah. All right, Isaiah 43, verse 10. People of Israel, you are my witnesses, announced the Lord. I have chosen you to be my servant. I wanted you to know me and believe in me. I wanted you to understand that I am the one and only God. Before me, there was no other God at all, and after me, there will not be another God. I am the one and only, and his name is there. It says Lord there, but it's I am the one and only Yahweh. I am the only one who can save you. I have made known what would happen. I saved you. I have told you about it. I did this. It was not some other God you worship. You are my witnesses that I am God, announces the Lord. And that is not all. I have always been God and will always be. No one can save people from my power. When I do something, who can undo it? And what I got from that is that we are witnesses or intended to be witnesses to his identity, his character, and his sovereignty, which is what he describes here. Identity, I am Yahweh. His character, how he saves, and then his sovereignty that nobody could do anything. So I am Lord over everything, right? I'm feeling like this is what Jesus was wrestling the disciples with. If you believe that I am the Messiah, come from God, then I am Lord and sovereign over everything. So I didn't have nothing that you will face or can interact with that I am not Lord over. And so that's where rooting it in his identity and his character, right? Not only am I God, am I him, not only am I him, but this is the things about him that you should understand about me, right? And then my sovereignty over it. If you believed I was sovereign, then you wouldn't be afraid on the water because you know that all of this reports to me. If you run out of food, then you don't have to worry about money because, I could feed you.
Correct.
Right? And so that's why I was pushing belief in what? I think if they believed, because then he comes back and he asked in one of these chapters, it's either 8 or 4. So let's go back to Mark 4. Yeah, Mark 4. Because I'm in the same place you were, Kenrick. I'm just, sharing how mine connected to yours.
No, you're good.
Mark 4, 40 and 41. Yeah, he said to his disciples, "Why are you so afraid? Don't you have any faith at all yet?" They were terrified. They asked each other, "Who is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him." And I realized that he's not saying, "Don't you have any faith yet?" He's saying, "Don't you have any faith in me yet?" And so that abstract, just "don't you have any faith," misses the, "don't you have any faith in me?" And they're like, "Well, who is this?" So they don't really understand who he is, or as Jerry says, their hearts are so hardened they can't really accept him as that. And I think in 8, he comes back, and then after all of these things, after 4, when all that happened in 4, and then 5 and 6, and you pointed out 6. We come to 8 where he does the food again.
He does the food again, and we've gotten into the same thing.
And they run into the same thing. And then he says it's 8:27 that I'm really interested in. Because this goes back to the question of faith in what? So after he comes to the people, side 7, Jesus and the disciples went to the villages around Caesar Philippi. On the way, he asked them, who do people say I am? Getting back to identity, right? They say, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, still say one of the prophets. But who do you say that I am? You are the Messiah. So to Jerry's point about the word, the foot thing, they understand the identity, but they don't fully appreciate his character and sovereignty.
Correct.
And they don't, and so that is where they don't have belief that trust and trust that acts.
Yeah.
And I think that makes, and I like the way you put that and broke that down, because now it's almost like it's a lot of times I try to be formulaic. And so like when you put the formula together, then you start applying it, right? And so now you can see why the people of Nazareth didn't get there.
Like, we know him.
We know him.
That guy.
And like his sister still lives here. Like we already like it's not like so you start putting the formula together, and they're just like, yeah, that's not, I don't even know. And I get it. Like I get it. Like there are people I know.
I remember when you was in school and you used to give trouble. You was one bad little boy or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Looking boy, whatever.
I get it. I understand it. And so that was, and so you go through and you start putting it in, but but at the very, but it was very clear to me. It was like belief is essential. Like it's the first thing that has to happen. And if you, and he was very clear, because of their unbelief, they got to, I'm out.
But what I like that it brought out, and Jared highlighted it there, can you really believe if you don't understand the identity, the character, and the sovereignty? Because I feel like they all brought their version of his identity to the table. So it's like, like people talk about us reading into the Bible. And so rather than leaving with what the Bible is actually saying, we're looking for confirmation bias. I come to the Bible with this, and does the Bible support my narrative or not? And it's like each of them had this narrative they expected Christ to support. And it's like outside of him doing that, they're like, we don't really know what to do with this guy. And Judas was the worst, right? Judas was just like, you not lining up. I'm gonna force your hand, or you are, you no good to me. And so I think it's like when it says without faith, it's impossible to please him. It's not faith about him, but faith in. I'm going to quote that, Jared: identity, character, and sovereignty. And if those three things not aligned.
But there's gotta be something. It's almost like the conversation we had where we contrasted Mary and was it Elizabeth?
Or her husband, which one? Depends on what.
Or her husband.
Yeah. Where she was like,
what was that Dama's name?
Joseph or Zachariah? Where it was like, how will this be, as opposed to, it's like, you sure this is gonna be?
How can I be sure?
Correct.
How can I be sure?
There had to be. So we saw a lack of belief in both the disciples, because it was called out, and we saw one in Nazareth. However, he still messed with the disciples. He didn't. He he was like, kick rocks. Like I'm out. Right. So it's like there's still here that maintained like those guys that they had that was different than people in Nazareth, similar to Zechariah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think that's what Jerry's saying. In the disciples, they understood, or at least believed, he was the Messiah, right? But they didn't understand the significance of the Messiah in terms of his sovereignty and character, which is why they thought, you're the Messiah, sure, all right, great, I believe that. But what does that mean?
Nazareth
what does that
didn't
mean?
believe that he was the Messiah. So you couldn't even get to the starting point. I got you. Okay, I'm with you.
Correct.
Okay, I got
you. And Jesus' frustration is, yes, you believe I'm a Messiah, but you should understand what that means in the broader picture. Like, you should know this food thing is nothing. The water and the waves thing, I'm, and that's when he said. So now the things that he says, like the Son of Man has power on earth to forgive sins because my identity, my sovereignty, right? The Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. Sabbath was made for man, but man was made for the Sabbath, and the Son of Man is Lord even of the Sabbath. Like, he's throughout his whole ministry establishing God's character, God's sovereignty, and his identity in him. Like, my ability to talk to the waves is because I created them. I'm Lord over them. And they didn't necessarily fully believe in his lordship, or I would say understand. Right? That's what I would say. The Bible clearly says it's a faith belief thing. So maybe there's some hardening there why they choose not to believe, rather than they didn't understand.
I just think it just comes from a place of, so I think inherently belief is very difficult, right? It's difficult to put your trust in something, like just 100% all in. I don't think we're naturally, like, that's not what we do.
So I think
I think there's some time. I think it takes time, right? I think it's
agreed. We want to know first. We
want to 100%.
We want to understand how it works before we can believe in it.
Yeah, and we want to know how it works. We're more interested in how it works than knowing the person behind it.
Correct.
Absolutely. And we're doers, right? I mean, we're about action. And I'm saying that as someone living in 2026. I'm assuming that you can go back 3,000, 4,000 years, and that's like a consistent idea and thought. Like, we get out there and we do. I know what my capabilities are, right? And you kind of push through it. I think that's very difficult to then completely rely on someone else. Everything initially, like, it wasn't even like, wasn't that you weren't going to go buy food, right? He could have provided the money to buy food, so it wasn't the buying the food. It was like, who are you looking to initially for the solution? Like, where are you putting your faith for the provision? And that can play out in 1,000 different ways, right? 100 deer could have come and just died right there, and then you just cut them. Like, and we don't know what that was going to be, but it's like, who, to your point, who do you rely on for the provision? And I think that's the difficult part.
I would argue that. Sorry. Go ahead, Sarita.
I think I'm struggling with this conversation because I know I'm of the belief that divine intervention and human effort is where all the money resides. And in the example, I feel like, or the examples we're using, there is no human effort outside of, well, I should say physical effort. And so trying to ground it in 2026, I'm struggling with that because I feel like.
Let's go back a step then. So one of the things about the language barrier is that we have two words, they have one. We have belief as a cognitive understanding, and then trust and action as two separate things. It's all one word. Their word is belief that trust that acts. All of that is belief, right? And so if I believe that you are sovereign, then I'm not afraid and looking for solutions myself. I'm coming to the maker. So it's almost like if I know Kenrick have it and he's in charge of this building and I need something in the building, I'm not going to try and figure it out for myself unless Kenrick tells me to solve the problem. I'm going to just say, Kenrick, hey, what do I do about this? Where do I find X, Y, and Z? Particularly if I'm visiting in his house, because he knows the house. This is his house.
Right? I think that's where I'm struggling. So for me, I'm going to try to I feel like we're on our tippies and I'm going to put it on, try to put it on the ground, right? Like, let's say, to your point, I need something from this building and I know Kenrick owns the building. In my head, it's like, okay, well, I have to show up to the building in order to collect whatever this thing is that I need from Kenrick, right? So it's the effort that I'm putting in is Kenrick can get whatever I need, but I gotta show up physically to go get the thing. I'm telling you my mindset, right? And so where I'm struggling is, and I'm thinking about if I could just touch the hem of his garment, open up the roof, let me down, take up your bed and walk.
Nobody to come, just say the word.
But I think that's the thing.
Right? Nobody to come, just say the word.
But not only nobody to come, but I'm telling you not to do what you were going to do, right?
But I guess my thing is maybe, right? I guess the thing is maybe you don't have to show up. I think that's the thing. Is for me, it's like when the disciples went out there, when he put them in the boat, which I thought was very intentional, is crazy. And they were just going through the storm and they're working. It had nothing to do with their effort. It may not be that you have to show up to the building. It may be you just call. And then I take and I have whatever it is delivered to you.
Correct.
It may be that you show up to the building.
But you have to. So, for example, you would have to stop me in my tracks, is what I'm saying.
Right. That's why I want to stop you in your tracks if you really know me.
That's why I want to
go constantly in a relationship with me. Because it's if you and I are vibing, then you will know on Mondays, this is what Jerry's likely to do. If it's a Wednesday and I show up unannounced, it's good. And on Monday, he'll be like, no, call me 10 minutes out. And I think what all these stories are pointing to is the need for that knowledge of who he is and that dialogue, that back and forth to get, this is.
And the issue wasn't the action, it was the response. Because it's belief that trust that acts. Mm-hmm. So if I am because, I remember when we were talking about them being on the boat and in the storm, right? They went to him. And I didn't understand why he still told them they didn't have no faith, because they went to the solution. But it was how they went.
Correct.
It is the Zachariah versus Mary thing.
Yeah, we are about to die.
It's the posture, not the action. It's the driver of the action. Because he says, don't be afraid. I am here. Right. So
okay. So let's hold that for a second. I think in these situations, the people got what they wanted, right? Like Jerry said, we about to die. And he could have said, yeah, half as we is. It is what it is, my guys. Right?
Yeah.
But I'm not, but I'm gonna holler at y'all later, right?
I was gonna say he's not dying.
His mission wasn't done. That wasn't his timing.
No, but y'all pawns in the big game.
And you were part of the mission, so I can't let you die either.
We can get another. We can find another 12.
Yeah. No.
It is what it is, right? We done lost a couple on the way anyway. By the time we got to the end. So the point I'm trying to make is there are parts in the story. There 2026 where I want to survive in the boat, but I'm supposed to die. And so you can't tell me this can't just be faith, because I could have all the faith in the world, but if I'm supposed to die, it's a wrap. So how
I don't know if you're. So I don't understand the supposed to die thing.
Let's say John the Baptist, right? John the Baptist is a good example of that. Is what the point I think she's making. He's he's a good poster child for that. It's
he just talks too much.
The situation doesn't work out to the satisfaction of the person, right? So there are a lot of those stories. And this is why I'm saying it's the reaction, because while he was in the thing, the message he sends to Jesus, believe that trust, faith that act, believe that trust that acts. He started to doubt. So while he's in the situation, he's like, are you the one, or should we expect another? I had this belief that trust, and my trust was causing me to talk all this thing, but now I'm in this situation. I am so sure anymore. And Jesus's response wasn't to save him from his situation as a means to restore his faith, but to say, tell him what you are seeing. Remind him of who I am and what I came to do. Remind him of my identity by the things that I'm doing, and my character and my sovereignty, so that you could chill there. You're going to die probably, and you're not going to get out of jail. So it's not about faith for deliverance. And that's why this whole belief that trust that acts thing is a relational thing, right? And he said that's why it's rooted in gnosko, is this experiential knowing, because that's what generates the faith, right? It's relational, and it's lordship that is relational. It's not transactional.
I think
there's a word between relational and transactional that I'm stuck. And I'm trying to generate that word because there are transactional stories, right? And there are relationships.
Transactional on the surface, yes.
From us reading it and the amount of patriarchal whatever's, translations, it seems transactional. But there's something in the middle there where I'm stuck. Like I'm like, like I said, I'll never cross the Red Sea. I'm stuck right there, right? Like,
describe it. Like, go through it.
It's like me. I don't necessarily serve God because I think I'm going to get wealthy, right? If I get wealthy, matter of fact, I'm not going to get to the level of wealth that I should be, because I'm going to lose my Christianity. Let's be very clear, right? So we'll never get that far. But let's say I live a very comfortable life. I don't serve God because I believe he's going to make my life comfortable. Like I'm going to live this comfortable life. I also don't have the expectation that I'm going to be uncomfortable as well. And so there's somewhere in the middle that it's like, I forgot.
Are you saying
there's a verse that's like, thanks for keeping me content, but thanks for not making this as bad as it could be, because if I went more one way, then I'm gonna lose it, and if I went more the other way, I'm gonna lose it. So I appreciate this middle ground. That is the Sharika English translation, right? But I think Jared knows the verse I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. Yes.
Are you trying to figure out like where personal effort and then complete reliance on God, like where they meet?
This conversation is making me believe, or is questioning whether or not I actually believe. And that's where I'm stuck, right? And so I'm like, I don't not believe, right? Like, and
because of what you
not
do.
Believe
like,
what?
Believe like, yeah.
I'm gonna stay there. Not believe what?
Believe
everything that we've talked about: sovereignty, the current, and the effervescent, for lack of a better term.
Why
is it letting me question it?
Yeah,
because I don't know if the worry that was in the boat is more of a disbelief versus a timing kind of thing.
Let's go back to the verse, because there's some key things in the language.
What do you mean timing?
I think and I say this often, it's not that I don't believe in God. I believe you're capable of doing it. I just don't know when. And so the length of the when to the wrong person, if I'm talking, could assume that you don't believe. And it's like, that's not where we're at.
I got you.
So yeah, let's go back to the story. It becomes a little bit clearer. Once I got the belief in his sovereignty character, because I remember we talked about this before, and I was like, what were they supposed to do? And it was in asking that question that I got a little bit of clarity. But if we go back to the story and look at their language and then what Jesus says to them, we get to see what the real issue was. And that's why I'm saying, I'm going to say up front, it's posture. And it's posture being informed by belief that trust that acts, right? And so it's not, so let's put the outcome aside for a second and look at this through posture lens, right? Belief that trust that acts, that he is the Messiah, that he is sovereign over everything, right? And that his character is one of concern and care for us, that he loves us like a father, right? So let's go Mark 4:35. We'll start there and we'll go to 41. When evening came, Jesus says to his disciples, let's go over to the other side of the lake. They left the crowd behind, and they took him along in a boat just as he was. There were also other boats with him. A wild storm came up. Waves crashed over the boat. It was about to sink. Jesus was in the back, sleeping on a cushion. The disciples woke him. They said, Teacher, don't you care if we drown? Was there? If you had believed that he was sovereign, what would you say to him when you woke him?
It's a different conversation.
That's fair.
It's a different question.
That I if I'm in the boat, I wouldn't have been like, you don't care that I'm no, I'd be like, yo. There's more in this joint, not that you
right. So now your question is being informed by your belief in his sovereignty, his character, and his identity, right?
Again, the timing, like I just mentioned before, it is not that you cannot fix this, but the water just went from my ankles to my knee, right? And so I see you sleep. Yo.
Yeah, I'm just letting you know, hey, like just letting you know what's going on.
It's waste now. But does that and I think that's that word between transactional and relational that I can't figure out, where it's like, is that doubt or is that just one of those
100%?
And I don't know if I agree.
I think I would say. Go ahead, Cameron. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jack.
I was gonna say that's why I like the story of Zechariah, right? Let's examine the context of what's happening with Zechariah. Zechariah is a priest who's been praying in private for this thing. He's on duty in the most holy place, and an angel shows up with an answer to his prayer. And his response is, how can I be sure?
Fair. And
before we go on, what I'm trying to point out in saying that is belief that trust that acts. His actions are rooted in his understanding or his belief and his trust in the sovereignty character.
I have no issue with that.
So if he had a more trusting, if he had a belief that trust that acts, does he ask a question? Probably, but does it look different? Like, what does the question look like?
And that's 100%. Like, I think about the girls, and like, if we're at a store, right, and we go to the register, it's a different question to be like, "Hey, can we get this?" versus like them like, "Hey, can I get your card?" "Hey, can I get your card?" means that like they know they're getting it. Like, there's not a question. They're looking to me and they're like, "Hey, just give me the card and I'll do it."
Right. Yeah.
As opposed to like, "Hey, can we get this?" There's a level of doubt. Like, are you able to get
I would even rephrase that. For me, can we get this doesn't necessarily mean doubt. What for me, doubt would be like, you got money? Right? Like,
yes.
And
it's doubt in character and in what was it?
But I think that can we get this is in that middle ground I'm talking about, right? Because the can we get this is, for me, I know you got it. It's whether or not you're going to give it to me.
But that's
now.
not what they said. But that's not what they said in this.
Pause. Let's look at the three Hebrew boys. The three Hebrew boys understand his character and his sovereignty, and their approach state is like, he can, we believe he will, and even if he don't, we good. Because we know this.
I'm not arguing that either. I'm saying I'm sitting in that middle of.
That's not really. I would not. But I would not say that's a middle, Sharika. I would say it's not a middle, because that is still relational, and that is still someone who's growing in their understanding of the thing, not someone who's questioning the character. I think that can we get it is different from, as you rightly said, do you have money? Now that is a whole different question, right?
Correct.
And that is from a whole different place.
Right.
Well, but it's also not just doubt; it's understanding the identity. So even when here, as it reads here, and you guys can, we go back to the original and figure out if that's actually how it's said. But it's like, teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown? That to me sounds like not like, can you save us, or you have the ability to save us. It means like, yo, we need all hands on deck. Like, we're all bailing water. Agreed. You got two hands. You can bail water too. Not you have the ability to save.
I'm not doubting that. We are on the same page.
I think that's the difference.
I think that's fine. I think where I'm lying, and Mezzo, I'm with you for the first and part of your second question. I'm speaking from my own personal experience, right? Like, if you know me, I had fertility issues since I was 20. I think when I was 20, I got my first surgery or something. Whatever. Didn't have a kid till 19 years later, right? Like, and from the beginning, it'll happen, and I'll be like, when? Like, when? So when, right? And it's not that I wanted when I wanted it, because I didn't. And Jared and Kendrick, y'all can attest to this. I didn't have a time frame of when I wanted or didn't want it. It was just when, right? Like, this win is really a battle for us, friends. Like, do you believe? Sure, it's possible. I know he can. He will if he should. It is what it is. But when? And I think
I want to linger in there, Sarika, because that question, I like that scenario and that question. Let's read this and then I'll come to that, because you hit the nail on the head. He got up, he ordered the wind to stop. He said, waves, be quiet, be still, and the wind quiet down. Then he said to his disciples, why are you so afraid? Do you not have enough faith, or do you have not any faith yet? Right? Their question, the way they phrased it, revealed their posture.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, and that's what happened with Zechariah, and I would even argue in a lot of our when questions, they reveal a measure of control and lack of deference. It's, I need to know so that I could plan, so that I could be aware. It's not a whenever you think is a good idea. And so sometimes those questions reveal faith that belief that trust that acts. Because if I have this thing, do I even ask when? Like, sometimes I some people who fall out with me for this. Somebody will say, I'm going down here, you want to come? I'll be like, yeah, tell me where and what time. Where are we going, what we going to do when we get there? I don't need to know. You say come, I go in with you, right? And then somebody asks me, where you going? I go in with them. Where they going? I don't know. I didn't ask. And they're like, you don't need to know all. I know I don't need to know. Who going? I don't know. He tell me come.
They're going.
I don't need to know. But there are people who they have to know all those things before they even sign up to come on, right? And a lot of that is, and when you process with them, they want to have control of what's happening. It's not a deference to the other person. A perfect example of that, that's a little bit of when God shows up to Job, he doesn't answer his question. And he doesn't promise deliverance. He just says, little boy, go sit down somewhere. Right? Because this grown folks thing. You're not going to understand it, even if I try to explain it to you. So understand my sovereignty, that I am sovereign, but also understand that I care about you.
And even in your understanding, it's no value to, like, it doesn't determine any outcome.
So I'm going to make a statement that is not necessarily how I feel, but could be how someone else feels. Right? Do you not care about what this is doing? Do you not realize, because care is not the word. Do you realize that you might lose me if I'm not getting small pieces of the puzzle?
You're talking about God.
Right. Which is very different, and which is very different than you don't care, right? That's not what we're saying. What do you do for those people with that mindset?
So I would argue that he knows you enough to know how much to give and how much to hold back. And he's walking that with that understanding of you. And I believe that blessing and these trials have the same effect of growing faith. Sometimes you need that so that you can do, and then sometimes he holds back so that you can. He was able to do that with Job because he knew he wouldn't lose Job. And just when he was about to lose Job, he showed up. So he don't.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I just,
he's not taking that risk.
with the girls,
we don't know our own breaking points.
No, we don't.
He knows our breaking points
better than we do. There's so many.
Oh, I'm not asking that. I'm saying
trainers in the gym
don't know our own breaking points.
I think we may have some idea of our breaking points. We have an idea.
I don't even know if that's true. Yeah. Because I don't, trainers in the gym, push you, and you don't know what you can do, right?
What?
That's not true.
Wait, to Kenrick's point, though, what I've seen trainers do is what they're trying to push you out of, in their words, is your comfort zone. You have an idea of this is my comfort zone and this is me outside of your comfort zone, not realizing this is still all within your wider comfort zone. And they want to push and push and push till they get you outside of that.
And I'm not saying that day. It's like, but you look at yourself 6 months from then, and 12 months from then, and 18 months from then, and you realize, like, you're light years away from where you thought that you could be. Right? And I think that's the way God does it. And I look at the girls and we have the same conversations, right? There's certain things, like, I will 100% push them in certain areas, right? And we have our knockout, drag out fights because, they're just like, no, we fight. And then you look back a year later and you're like, oh, my bad. And there's like, okay, I get it.
As a professional masochist, professional, I'm hearing you, but I'm still not landing the plane. Like, it's still not land because there.
What's not landing?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
I personally just remember being in circumstances and situations where there was like, there's no way that I'm going to be able to make it through this particular thing. It's not going to happen.
And that's never happened to me. I've never been in a situation. I've never been in a situation that I felt like there's no way out, right? Like,
there's a situation where there's nothing else you can do.
I've never been in a situation that I felt like there's nothing else I can do.
Okay, yeah. So I've been in those situations where I was like, there's literally nothing I can do to solve for this thing. I can
that's where we're.
There's not a person to call. There's not a thing I can do. There's nothing that's going to happen that's going to get me out of this particular situation. And I don't know how, nor do I know when it's going to get resolved. However,
or if,
but I do have a belief that it will get resolved. Like it's just, and I've been there countless times.
I want to caution against framing this in terms of outcomes. I want to caution against that because his intent with outcomes sometimes is to affirm and strengthen, but the intent is never really about in the outcomes. And that's one of the lessons that's one of the lessons that my mother, taught me. It's her experience. His concern is for that belief that trusts and trust that acts, and that posture of understanding that says, no matter what, I trust you, and that I show up in these situations revealing my trust.
But so I push back on that, and like that is an outcome. Like, so
that is the outcome that he's concerned about. And these other outcomes, the physical outcomes, sometimes help in driving that, but that's the only outcome he's concerned about.
That's what I'm saying. That's the outcome. So that's the outcome. So when I'm going through it, so what it revealed to me was like, it wasn't that he solved this or didn't solve this or whatever. Is that no? At the end of the day, like I know that he is there, whether it works out or not. Right, in my favor.
Correct.
Right,
but we're talking my favor.
When I say my favor, based upon my desired outcome.
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Right, there's still an outcome, and the outcome is that I'm here.
Correct.
Like, doesn't matter what's going to happen. I'm here, and I'm working through this with you, and it's going like whatever the outcome may not be. To your story, which like the outcome wasn't for her. The outcome was for you, but there was still an outcome.
Correct.
Right. There was still something that was there that had to that there was a result of.
Right. Yes. I agree. That is the outcome. We like to have these conversations in the physical surroundings, and I think those are tools for that outcome. Like he's playing outcomes there, we playing outcomes here.
Correct.
I want us to move out of our outcomes into his.
Facts.
Because, when you think we're saved by grace through faith, and then, rewarded according to what we do, is because what we do reveals whether we have belief that trusts and trust that acts. Right? If I believe that you are Lord, do I do things that demonstrate your Lordship in my life? And if I believe that you are Lord because you are the Son of God, do I demonstrate in my posture, in my questions, in how I feel or how I react, that you are sovereign here? Because that's the 3 Hebrew boys. He's sovereign here. And I'm not going to allow the circumstance to manage that. That's the woman who comes, who the Syrophoenician woman whose daughter is sick. Like he's sovereign here. And I'm not leaving till I get something. And Jesus didn't reward her faith because he wanted to heal the daughter. He was like, she believes that I'm sovereign here. I'm going to honor that and give her this answer.
Correct.
I'm going to give her what she wants because she believes I'm sovereign. The other people, the people where I come from, my neighbors, the ones I grew up with, my childhood friends, not me. Jesus is saying that when he went to Capernaum.
Yeah.
They don't believe that I'm sovereign here, so I can't help them.
And I guess that's where kind of this whole conversation started. It's like, it for me, what I got from those chapters was that it literally starts there. And Jesus was very clear, like, I can't do anything if you don't have this. You got to at least have this. And until you have that, like I can't do anything. I'll walk away from you. I actually can't do anything for you if you don't at the very least believe.
Yes.
He couldn't heal. He couldn't cast out. He couldn't do anything until somebody.
I don't know if he couldn't, but he didn't.
Well, okay, didn't. I'm saying couldn't, like he didn't. He wasn't going to do it.
Yeah, he didn't. He chose not to.
Correct.
And again, because he's answering these people to reward and to further their belief, right? But there were some people who were receiving it and still would believe it. They still didn't demonstrate belief that trusts. I think that is the key, right? Does your belief lead you to trust in his character, trust in his identity, trust in his sovereignty?
But I don't even know.
You take action on that trust.
So I guess my thing is that I don't even know if you need all of those three to start.
No, not all three. Not all three. But whatever one is relevant.
You need something, right? Because he healed a bunch of people, and I don't think everybody believed in all, like acknowledged and understood all three. But it was like, I just need something to start. What can I work with here?
Correct.
I need one of them.
All three. But at least one of the three.
Correct. Sharika. She's like,
I'm not in disagreement. I just don't think it's addressing the issue I have.
I don't understand your issue.
And that's fair. That makes one.
So I'm saying, please, I must have missed it. I thought I understood it, and I don't.
And maybe I just don't think it's black and white. And so I think the way it's being described here, it feels very black and white. And I think there's an area shade of gray somewhere in the middle. And I'm not saying that the gray is good, bad, or indifferent. I'm more concerned about, should there be concern in the gray?
Right?
Because what I'm hearing is like belief and not belief, right? And then we kind of went into the when, which some could think that that's unbelief, or could be control, or could just be curiosity. I don't know. I'm not in a position to tell people what.
Some people have a third option. So there's belief, there's unbelief, and there's anti-belief.
Then there's a fourth one, right? Because I'm not talking about the anti-belief either.
You're saying that the time during is not necessarily you don't believe. It's just nothing's happening.
Belief and unbelief feel very 2D to me, two-dimensional. And I think the when introduces like 3D, 4D. All right. And so to your point, Kenrick, I'm no longer even considering my belief at this point. Like, it's fine. Like I'm that's not up for discussion. It's this nothing is happening world that in this conversation has now making me question whether or not this really is 2D. And in my head, I'm like, it can't be 2D, because from a personal experience, I'm not questioning if I believe.
But to Jared's point, that seems so you're looking for a result to confirm. Is that, am I not?
I am looking for looking's sake. I don't know if it's a result. It could be a pluck in my forehead. It could be a raindrop. It could be absolutely nothing, and we come back outside the next day. I don't know what it looks like, right? But something, right? Like
But then,
so real quick. So
not like what
the disciples are in. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
No, it's not like what the example Jared raised with John the Baptist. I'm in prison so long, nothing is happening.
But John started to say negative things. He started to say, was I right? Was I wrong? Like, what's going on? It feels more like David, if anything. You know how David just went back and forth like, yo, my enemies is coming for me, my guy. Like, what's going on here? We've never questioned David's belief. Like, that was one of God's
he always ended with, but in you I will trust, or I put my hope in you. Like, so,
and those are different because there was a promise made. I'm looking more like the disciples, like in the boat. Like, if you got the storm going on, you go down and you're waking up Jesus, and let's just say the Bama just isn't waking up.
Well,
and you still got the storm.
Today.
You still got the storm going on. That's what I'm kind of hearing from you.
And yeah, right. He now, as I said, we going from ankles to knees. We going from knees to waist. We going
you're still sleeping. You're still sleeping, and you're not waking up. You're not giving me nothing's happening, and the storm is still going, and we still have all this water.
And I still believe that even if this thing comes up to the top of my nose, you can do something about it.
Yeah.
So let's
how far should this really go, my guy?
Yeah, I got you.
The circumstance to a parent and a child. Put yourself in the posture of a parent, right? If your child starts to panic over, you ever see the thing in the video where the little child is holding on and screaming about how he can't swim, and the parent is just standing there and he's like, just stand up. The water's really not. Please just stand up.
Yeah.
Hysterical.
Yeah. Yep.
If you are a parent, what are you believing about your child's posture towards you if they're being hysterical like that?
But the end of that video is the parent pulling their leg down, right? So, for instance, you let them hysterical and the mother stand there like, you idiot, right? Like, and eventually, the end of the video, the legs get pulled down and the kid's like, huh, my bad, right? Like, and so it's, again, I'm here to the panic. And as a parent, I'm 366 days in at this point, right? I'm gonna pull her legs down.
Yes.
Yes.
And all I'm saying at this point, because in so many ways there's value in the fact that she's still holding on.
Yes.
Yes.
And a parent would be patient with that.
Huh?
But a parent would be patient with that. But the expectation is trust me. Right? And if you did trust me, would you be panicking like this? And sometimes if I put the foot down, it helps to trust for the later thing.
I can't relate to that because I don't.
100% can relate to that, Sharika.
No, because I don't believe that my panic, and however my panic shows, for me isn't a direct relationship to whether or not I believe you or not.
I'll push back on that, because if it was your daughter, Sharika, yes, you'd pull her legs down and then you'd look at her, because if she's looking at you, she's panicking and she realizes you're standing there and you're not panicking. Why is she still panicking? She knows
she has the right to panic.
We're not disputing that. But
understand.
She knows you love her. She knows you're not going to let her drunk. If she's starting to question those things,
but that's
why she's going to panic.
One thing you just said is that you're not going to let her drown. No, God will let you drown. So she knows that I will let her drown.
But
she knows that if I let her drown, it's because I believe she should drown.
No, but now we go back to the first point I made, which is faith is not a static thing. Faith is an intimate knowing of who somebody is and what they will do in various situations, which is why, like the Hebrew boys, they're like, we know you can, we believe you will, and even if we don't, we good either way. We're not going to panic because we know who you are. If they started panicking, it's because they're now questioning.
I hate that story.
You hate the story?
I hate the story because it's like, well, if you don't save us, then don't be upset that I'm upset that you ain't do nothing. Like,
what they said was,
Sharika,
what they said, and this is why the posture is important. What they said was, even if you don't, we won't compromise. We won't compromise even if you don't. That's the posture piece.
And you literally live like, and I guess, so we can talk about like the kid, right? And so however short period that time, 20 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds, that kid, like during that process, it feels like an eternity for that kid.
Correct.
Right? No different than the eternity you felt for 19, 20 years, whatever it was.
Correct.
Between you and Shiloh. And your posture, if I'm not mistaken, although it wavered many times, at one point it was just like, it is what it is. Like there's nothing else I can do.
No.
100%.
My posture was, it is what it is. I don't feel like doing anything else.
Okay. Sure.
Which is very different than I can't figure things. And this might be, again, this might be a Sharika problem. There's always something for me to do. I just don't feel like it anymore. Right? Like, so
there was nothing. What else were you going to do?
What do you mean? That had 15 million doctors telling me to do X, Y, Z, try this, try that, blah, 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 blah. Money buys whatever I'm looking for. It is what it is, right? And I got to the point.
It actually wasn't.
No.
Like, it literally.
I got to the point that I said, I'm not doing anything else. Not that there's nothing else that I can do. I'm not doing anything else. I'ma just do me, which is why when I did my last transfer and they were like, oh, you should do bed rest. I was like, F your bed rest. I'm doing whatever I want to do, right? Because that's where I was, which some people could see as rebellion. But it wasn't that I couldn't do anything. I just didn't want to. And I think that's where my gray is. I just choose to not do anything anymore. Not that I run out of options. I don't want to do nothing no more. This is whack, right? Or it is what it is. If it happens, it's not because I did it. If it happens, not because I was expecting it. If it happens, it's not even because I gave up. I don't want to. and that's just that. Like, and I don't know if that's a popular mindset in that I don't wanna.
And that's fair. It's just the question. The question then becomes, what does the I don't want to reveal about your posture, your belief that trust, and your trust that acts? Is that I don't want to an act of trust?
The I don't wanna for me was neither trust or distrust.
For you.
For me.
Right. And in this situation, you're the child. What do you think it reveals to the parent as an act? There's a lot of things my kids don't. I'll give you an example.
Do what you want.
No, hold on. I'll give you an example. My youngest is 9 years old. So she's now officially on blast because this is going to be on the internet forever. She doesn't understand the concept of keeping her room clean.
Hey, she don't wanna.
But and what I'll be trying to say to her is, this is not about what you want. You demonstrate respect for your father and his wishes. If he says keep the room clean in the house that he's paying a mortgage for, that's what you do. It has nothing to do with if you're feeling to, if you're in the mood, fair. And if you're not doing it, you're not demonstrating respect. No,
fair.
You have the right to to panic, to be hysterical. Just what do you think? And it's just a question. What do you think the panicking and the hysteria represents to the guy who's like, but I got you though.
But here's my question. Can she panic, be upset, carry on, but still clean the room?
Yes.
She can, but she keeps telling me, but I don't want
to. She can, but she might.
So there is no, it's not, it's, as you said, it's a continuum and it's a growth trajectory. It's not a fixed point or a destination. And that's why it's relational. Because these things, they're not the same for every situation, and they're not the same over time.
But
of course.
But I also want to go back to the thing. So like when you were like, I don't want to anymore.
Right.
What is the basis of the I don't want to? Is it I don't want to, you got it, I'm not doing anything else? Like, what's the basis of the I don't want to? Because I think that's also that's kind of the posture as well. Right? It's like, I give up. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm done. I'm just
not that I don't give up. I've said this a lot of times. I'll just sit on the side of the road until I figure out what else I want to do. Right? The race, I didn't say I'm out the race. I didn't say I'm in the race. I'm just chilling on the side of the road because I don't want to do nothing right now. And to your point, it's a continuum. Every day I decide if I want to do something today. Right?
Well, you clearly decided to do something different.
I did not. I decided to do nothing. Like this was when I and so my mama was upset. Let's be very clear.
You changed your diet. You did all kinds of things in order to create a situation for.
And it failed. And when this
it didn't. You got a baby.
No. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. The efforts, when I put those efforts in, nothing. As a matter of fact, I miscarried when I did the most. When I did everything they told me to do, it didn't work.
You changed the whole diet up, Sharika.
It didn't work.
And that's kind of you're making the point that I've been making now.
But we're talking about the continuum, right? And so what I'm saying, to your point, when I was like, okay, we're gonna eat our veggies, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Cool. You're going to do your 48 hours of bed rest. You're going to this. You're going to take the medication the exact same time they tell you. You're going to do all the things. That last time, I did none of those things. I did it when I felt like it. And I did it, some would even say haphazardly, if that makes sense. There was a level of, I don't want, potentially rebellion, potentially.
But there was also, you took your hand off of it.
I don't know if I took my hand off of it or I just needed to sit at the side of the road.
Take your hand off of it.
That's fine.
Same thing.
Sitting at the side of the road.
And again, we're she reached a point of just existing. No, Mezzo, I would love if it was just that. I was in a state of freak. Kind of. I think spiritually, probably.
But here's the thing, Shrika. God has worked even in the rebellion. Because if you do everything and it works, then you could say you did it.
Never. I would never have said I did it.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't say, but you could say.
But this is a relationship. And so we're talking about me. And what Sharika is telling you is she would never say that. This, like I told you, I would never cross the Red Sea, right? Like, it's just, I'm not doing it.
But here's the thing. One of the reasons Moses couldn't go into the promised land is not because Moses will say, I let them in, but the people who are watching will idolize him.
Correct.
So God is not just working for you.
Fair.
He's working for everybody else who's going to hear this story, including Shiloh.
I'll little chick. I'll take that, right? I will take that part of your sentence. The point I'm trying to make, as you say, time, of course, time is not, it's a continuum. And in my walk, which has been primetime television for however long it's been on TV, it's like Grey's Anatomy at this point, sometimes sits in that gray area. And this conversation has me questioning if me sitting on the side of the road, not giving up, but not participating either, just watching Jared run by, mile number 25 and watching Jerome hit the personal best on mile 26 and watching Kenrick ride his bike when he should be walking, and I'm just sitting there.
I'm the lazy dude.
I didn't say it's efficiency. You know what I'm saying? Am I not believing, or am I just?
I think
no. It's not. I don't think it's that.
I think that's a bad framing. I don't know that you sitting by the side of the road is even coming out the race. I think that's a key part of being in the race. And I will say, there's so many characters for whom that similar type of thing is true. He's working on a whole different timing, and each individual is running their own race of a different sort, different personalities, different needs, different expectations, different motivations, so he's not going to do the same thing for you as he does for Kenrick. And he's not viewing it as a destination thing. He's doing it as a growth and maturation thing. So your gym plan might mean don't come for 2 weeks. I'm going to get with you because I'm working on your mental and your physical. Kenrick, you better show up here every week, right? Because Kenrick is as Gerald and Kenrick will tell you, when you have different children, the same thing don't work for both of them. And if you use the same measure and stick for either one of them, you now have to measure on how do I grow this one?
Correct.
And how did this one get from point A to point B?
And as much as I don't want to give Paul, I don't like that, but give Paul credit. Like, it wasn't about the timing of the race; it was just finishing the race. Like it wasn't how fast you got it done or who was first or whatever. It was just like it was talking about just finishing the race. So sitting on the side of the road for an hour doesn't mean you don't finish the race. You sit on the side of the road. You get your wits about you, whatever it is, and then you go on, and then at some point, the goal is to finish the race, not to be first or second or what. That wasn't the point.
That brings me to my second thing out of Mark 4, and you just gave me an opportunity to interject it. the objective of God is fruitfulness. And so when you think about the parable of the sower, the seed hits the soil in the various things, and only in one place does it become fruit.
Fruitful, yeah.
But that fruit doesn't happen overnight. And there's so many things between when you reach the seed to bearing fruit that the object is to get to the bearing of fruit. So what you were saying, Kenrick, I'm just giving it different words. God is be fruitful and multiply. Sharika, sometimes you sit in was the path towards fruitfulness, towards bearing
well,
fruit.
Quite literally was you being haphazard was the path to fruitfulness even. Because the fruit has been born.
Oh, double entendre.
Yeah.
I love it. The fruit has been born. Her faith and her fruit. So yeah, when you look at it, the enemy tries to circumvent the bearing of fruit. The bird taking the seed, that it doesn't get to fruitfulness. The sun drying it out, it doesn't get to fruitfulness. The weeds choking it out, it doesn't get to fruitfulness. The finishing of the race is the maturation to fruitfulness. And it could be 4 years sometimes before a fruit tree could bear fruit. Right? And you have to do all kinds of things, and all kinds of things happen.
That's nice.
Build a stalk, and it has to build a thing, and it has to bud, and sometimes it has to go through a whole season of just being grown with no fruit before the next year. Like, fruitfulness is the objective. Fruitfulness is the outcome.
And you're taking the hand off the wheel and being haphazard and sitting on the sideline is exactly that's exactly what happened with Jesus sent these dudes and told them to go across the water, and they were rowing, they were fighting. The storm came and they were fighting, and no matter how hard they fought, they weren't gonna get there. It was only when he came there and was just like, I got it. You don't need to fight no more. I got it. And so, all this stuff is just kind of your whole life is kind of that. Shiloh's a result of, you even said it today. So what I recommend, just sit on the side of the road, dog. Right now. Just sit down.
Bro, it's cold. I'm not doing it.
And sometimes the parent will let go and leave you there because you ain't gonna drown, but you had to learn. Some children, you had to put their feet down. Other people, you just when you get tired, you put your foot down. And some parents do that to some children.
Perhaps, and faith is an individual thing. Perhaps that is how me and my parent interact, right? My heavenly parent, in that she's having a tantrum. Leave her there. I'll come back 25 days later and she'll still be sitting there. It is what it is. It's kind of when we used to reference.
But she'll be all right.
I don't know about all that. I might be dying. Right. But
food will be born. Yeah.
We used to reference, when you're in the marriage or you're still in the bed, you don't touch me.
It's relational.
Or I'm still in the room, right? I'm sleeping on the floor in the room. I'm not out the room. I just felt like the beginning of the conversation had me questioning whether or not sleeping on the floor in the room or sitting at the side of the road was a sign of unbelief versus a sign of truth is I'm tired. I
feel like it's probably more a sign of transition than anything else, Shrika. Because here's the funny thing. You would sit on the side of the bed, whatnot, in this moment. Your faith is going to grow. You're going to become stronger. You're going to bear fruit. Great. And then something else might happen 4 years down the line that's going to tire you out. And you'll be like, you know what? I'm definitely sleeping in the living room for the next week. I'm still in the house. And I feel like it's a relationship. Things like that will happen, but finish the race. So sometimes that sitting on the side of the road isn't disbelief. It's tired. It's anything. It's just transition.
And then remember what we talked about, and I want to make sure, in order for God to do what he needed to do, he didn't require you to have all three. the formula that we had, right? It is at that one. You maintain the one, right? You maintain identity. You know who he is, right? Mm-hmm. You might maintain also character or whatever it is. Like you had that, and that's all he required. The one thing that the people in Nazareth wasn't having, like they didn't have any of it. Like they doubted, they were questioning each one of them.
Yeah.
And so at the end of the day, like, like Jared and Jerry are saying, like it's the maturation of, like, you're not expected to have it. Like the disciples didn't, like, Jesus cussed them out. Like, yo, what's the problem? Like, but he was still there going through the process with them. And at some point they got it.
Yeah.
And how do we know they got it? Because what they did after was monumental. Like they got it. And so it's the maturation of. And so I think the idea is like, and I think it's, and I look at it from my marriage. I look at it from, when people get baptized, I detest how people handle like the expectation that people are supposed to be this when they're, like, no, like I just got married. Like I can't have 25 years of experience in my first day of like, it's impossible. I actually have to go through the process of and grow into this. The same thing with this walk. Like, it's just, you have to grow into it. And I can't have everything now. It's impossible.
I would like to agree and then add a word of caution. Sometimes our relationships are a little myopic and one-sided, and we don't actually consider how the other person is feeling, particularly in relationships with God. So I think about, if you have a significant other or some people who you relationship with who rely on you, and you, like, they start to question whether you care about them and whatnot. How does that make you feel? How does it make you feel if the people who relying on you start to wonder, do you even care? And you, like, after I've done this and this and this to demonstrate you care, you really gonna come with this because of this situation? You really gonna come at me like that? How does that make you feel? And so rather than saying, is that lack of faith or not, ask yourself the question, what am I doing, and how does the other person, God in this, Jesus in this instance, regard what I am saying? Because that's what happened in this, in the story with the boat, right? Why are you so afraid? Do you not believe in me? Mm-hmm. Because if you believed in me, if you really believed in me, would you be acting like this? And so, because it's a relationship, we need to evaluate what's happening inside of me and how that is being received or portrayed by the other. So I'm saying all that you're saying, true, yes, all of that, and try and see from the other person's side and demonstrate regard, demonstrate belief, that trust, and trust that acts, because that's how he's doing that kind of not just assessment and evaluation, but that's how those things are revealed about what's really happening in us, whether we have control issues, whether we really trust him, whether we really rely on him, and so doing that internal evaluation is just as important as understanding that this is a relationship. They kind of go hand in hand. We shouldn't be one or the other.
I can receive that.
Man,
what did they say about me and David?
Huh?
Me, David, and Paul. What they say?
Oh, Batman was saying he don't know Kenrick. He's worried about you. First, you have issues with the Sam's and David, and now you have issues with Paul. But he didn't realize.
I love David. Yeah, but
you've been having issues with Paul since year one.
Yeah, what is it you got with Paul anyway? I don't.
Paul can kick
since he was by Rachel, you've been having issues with Paul.
I don't like Paul neither.
It's too many opinions. It's just too many opinions.
And most of it ain't even from God. But y'all remember that video?
I don't need your opinions. It's
too many opinions. The video, I don't know if you've seen the meme on Instagram with, like that dog that's always looking around. And it was just like the face of the people Saul kill when they see him in heaven. Bruh, you took me out. What you doing here?
How you get in here? What happened while I was gone?
What?
There's another one, a guy where he's like, he shows up in heaven and he sees Moses, so he's doing like the parting of the Red Sea. He's doing all these different dances, right? And then he sees Paul and he's like, and then when he sees Eve, and he's just like backs into these brushes, like, that woman seems to be like because he's like, nah, it's not you.
That's how I feel about Saul. Like, it's just like,
yeah. But because he was there with Stephen, right? So Stephen for sure is gonna be like,
yeah, Stephen's definitely gonna be like,
he threw that first stone.
Yeah.
Saul threw that first stone at Stephen that nigga dragged us up.
He didn't throw no stones. He was holding the coats of the people who was pelting the stones.
No, but there's some secular historian that they said who writing about the incident said Stephen died holding on to like the hem of Saul's garment, right? So let's just say that's true. My guy is like, him? It's like, what?
The coat guy?
Coat guy.
The coat guy.
Last reference. There's this one meme that like you show up at a party and like your ex is there, right? And it's like Donald Duck with his screw face, like, so y'all got roaches? Like, so someone like remixed it. It was like you show up to heaven, and Paul's there. So y'all got roaches? Like,
oh my goodness.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how I feel about him.
Yeah, I don't need that guy.
If we took all his writings out, if we took all his writings out that were strict opinions, just straight opinions, you know how thinner the Bible.
It's a lot of opinions. It's just a lot of opinions.
It would be like.
I'm not even saying they're
not even bad. They're not necessarily bad.
I'm just saying their opinions.
They're just opinions.
That's my only issue.
And it's not that we don't like David. It's Psalms.
I love. David's one of my favorites.
David's that guy. It's the Psalms.
You don't like his songs?
I just need the joints to. I'm an R. Kelly fan. I need the joints to rhyme.
So I want to raise one more point about fruit that I saw this week since we opened the door to it. The two verses I want to read are from Mark 4. So I had a lot in Mark 4 this week.
R. Kelly producing fan.
Woo!
Like music production, not.
Okay. Yes. Yep. We receive it. Yes.
Okay.
Clear up the Robert allegations.
I just need the internet because it's going to live on posterity. I just need to make sure.
Mark 4:26-29. Mark 4:26-29. Jesus also said, "Here is what the kingdom of God is like. A farmer scatters seed on the ground. Night and day the seed comes up and grows. It happens whether the farmer sleeps or gets up. He doesn't know how it happens. All by itself, the soil produces grain. First the stalk comes up, then the head appears. Finally, the full head of grain appears in the head. Before long, the grain ripens. So the farmer cuts it down because the harvest is ready." And I think this kind of puts a big seal on what we were talking about. The soil here from the previous story can tie into the heart condition, right? Your heart, once the word gets in there, the people who plant the seed don't have any role in it growing. The soil cultivates it on its own. But the soil has to be managed. The weeds have to be pulled up. The stones have to be moved. It has to be watered. But the soil, whatever is in it, it will cause it to grow. And it goes through, you see all these phases. First the stalk, then the head, then it's progressing towards maturity. And the outcome is a fully formed, fully mature, fruitful of grain. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a whole process, and there's so many things that could interrupt it. So the challenge is getting to fruit, or as Revelation would say, be faithful until the end and you will receive a crown of life. Be faithful until full fruit. And I think that fruitfulness happens over time. You know, and so it was really encouraging for me to see, whether the seed makes it to fruit is a function of the soil condition, but the growth happens by itself. The soil is what drives that. Whether it makes it to fruit is a function of the soil. So one, I don't have to be responsible for for your fruitfulness. That's all on how you keep your soil condition, which is why this is a posture relational thing.
The interesting thing with soil, though, is if you look at, so two things: the soil is usually damp, dark, and dense, and so there'll be situations that are dark. You just don't have clarity. When is this gonna? There'll be stuff that will be weighing you down because it's just dense. You just feel like it's just too much going on. And then there are things that are damp, but that is what is actually encouraging the growth. You don't see it, you don't connect the dots. What was this guy always say? Sorry, in Kierkegaard, life is lived forward, understood backwards. It's when you look back, you realize, oh, those were the exact conditions that made bearing fruit possible. Or might even have sped up the bearing of the fruit, right? It might have taken 19 years, but that was actually speeding it up. Remember, there are people who spend 40 years going around a mountain and never see the fruit, right? I'm just saying, you cut it in half. So I'm just saying. One of the other things I thought of as you were saying that with the seed, Jared, who was it we were talking to? And they were talking about the number of apple trees in every seed. So every seed has
that last time.
I think so, right? Every seed has the potential to do like 2,500 apple trees, which is then how many million other seeds, right? Which is so essentially you could get an entire orchard off of one tree. And at no point in time, if God looks at the seed, regardless of where it is in its growth journey, does he ever say it's not an apple tree? It could be just a seed. It could have one sprout. It's always, everything it needs is in it, right? So it's really about, back to your point, the condition of the soil to help this thing multiply. But once it stays in process, it'll become a tree, it'll bear fruit, the rest will be history.
Sometimes you gotta prune it, sometimes you gotta fertilize it, spray against the insects,
Keep Roscoe from, pissing on the branches or whatever, but yeah. You do what you gotta do.
Facts.
I just saw that.
Yeah, I've read this. I think that verse 28 is really the earth produces the crops on its own. I've never thought about it.
Hit you like for the first time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it hit me too. That's why I wrote it down. I was like, oh, all by itself?
All by itself.
But the one before talked about the condition, so that's why it connected. It's like, okay, it will do it all by itself if the conditions are right. Yeah. All right. That's all I had for today. Well, we are 10 o'clock, so I guess we should be closing. Anybody else had anything that they wanted to share before we close out?
That's right. We good.
All right. Bishop, I feel like you are positioned to say a prayer today. I feel like your gray area is saying, you know what, me ask God about this or talk to him about this.
Sure.
I appreciate you.
I thought about saying I don't want to, but it is.
I just sit on the side of the road. Somebody else gonna have to pray, right?
Well, we gotta do our takeaways first, right?
Yes, we do. Kevin.
I mean, I don't have one, but we have to do one.
Okay, all right. After all that was said, buddy, come on.
No, I like the formula, the identity, the character,
yes. I was typing away, making note of that. Thank you, sir.
And sovereignty. I thought that makes a lot of sense. And so that's my take of that. I'm going to apply that.
Isaiah 43. That was my revelatory light. Back when did I do that? That was in 22, 23. I had to go back and post to find it.
Thanks for revealing it now.
I think I revealed it before. No, I don't think we stuck on it. No, you might not be in that episode.
Jerry, have you heard it?
If I have?
Yeah.
I don't remember hearing it like that, no.
Yeah, I don't even.
Might have delivered it in principle, but yeah. That delivery just hit different.
That was the timing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's what it is.
Bishop?
Couple things. One, I need to get back in the gym because I ain't got my lines no more, and that's crazy. I just saw that in the video.
We still seeing guns, so I don't know. I mean,
these are pea shooters. These is not what they used to be. I haven't been on the camera in a while. I need to do better. By next week, we step it up. Anyway, 2, I definitely like what Kendrick was saying about I don't need all 3. Sometimes that might be my issue. Then I'm grading myself on a scale that's not necessarily real. Mm-hmm. And maybe this isn't a matter of a pass or fail. Maybe it's just simply, do you meet the expectations or do you need some improvement? Right. 3, wanted to share with you, if you ever come into my command center, which is my office, there are a couple of stickers everywhere. When I was in my 19-year journey, that last year, specifically between March and August, I got a couple of messages and I put them here. And one of them is very interesting right now. I remember calling my acupuncturist who believes in Chinese medicine and explaining to him that I had endometriosis and rah. He had all these things already. And I was just kind of talking about my doubt with him. And I wrote down what he said. Now, granted, he believes in Chinese medicine. He's not a Christian, but we can apply it here. Just putting that there. He said, don't manifest rubbish.
Ooh.
Stick with the protocol and start visualization, meditating with the desired outcome. First of all, you don't know me that well to be talking to me like that.
The rubbish was crazy.
Rubbish is what he said.
Rubbish was crazy.
That sounds like, Sharika, you know, that hit like, you know, some of the things Jesus would say where he's like calling people whitewash sepulchres and how long must I bear with you, you vile generations? Like, bro,
And so when you were talking and I'm talking about my gray areas and everything, and I looked up and the first thing, and it literally staring at me, don't manifest rubbish, ! And so dropping it into Christianity, similar to the story that we had, just, bruh, you know who I am? Like, what are you, like, what is going on here? Like, we've talked about this. Stop the rubbish, move forward. So whoever needed that, don't manifest rubbish. I thought about clearing them out, but clearly that one might need to just
keep that joint there.
So there's that.
Right. Jerry?
I want to go with there was a lot of stuff. 2 things. Even if you have to sit on the side of the road, finish your race. It is what it is. And then that last part about the soil, I do feel like I bemoan the soil a lot. Well, in some seasons, I'm like, it's damp, I'm not built for this, it's messing with my skin. But it's what's gonna bring forth the fruit, right? Mm-hmm. So I really have to sit down and think about some of the soil and if I shouldn't just be, you know, like you go for these massages and it's hot stone massage or something with mud or whatever, right? It's like, maybe I just need to embrace this soil as opposed to, Facts.
Word. Should we guys see the Message from Kelvin. Acupuncture called you out. Don't hit the messenger.
As I said, you don't know me well enough to talk to me like that. Bruh. Oh, man.
Yeah, my takeaway is from Kendrick. I appreciate the framing that there is an outcome. The outcome is, we said that there is an outcome. We started to describe it, but I could almost sum it up to say the outcome is fruitfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Fruitfulness, the bearing of fruit, not just a fruit in a given season, but fruitfulness is the outcome. And so I'm going home with that. Yeah. Let's see. There was one from. Batman said, Paul's opinions are widely accepted as good word guidance. For who? Yes, agreed. He also then says his takeaway, Paul was a good convert who said some God-inspired things that has helped many to know God despite his past sins. He spits holy fire upon them who think a cockroach.
He's a killer.
Oh.
Listen, I agree. I agree with all of those things.
Wow.
And Mitch came back. Stop it, Sharika. He read the room properly.
Sharika's like, he's a killer.
Mezo says, D. Sharika, my takeaway, our time is not God's time. It's more about what we do in the interim, in the in-between. That too is part of our journey. Yes, don't manifest rubbish. I like that.
Yeah.
The interim, the in-between,
yeah.
part of the journey. Yeah.
It's not just that you wait, it's how we wait, right?
Correct.
Facts.
Correct. All right. With that, Bishop, I think as your moment.
That hey, I'm the worst at playing sometimes. All right, everybody bow their heads. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for allowing us to gather. I want to thank you for interrupting me watching the Cavs game to come to Water for the Thirsty. For some reason, it was calling my name, and I appreciate you for that. I thank you for everybody's participation. I thank you for the growth that everyone has had here. As the conversation says, we all have our moments where we sit and wait. There are moments where we can be Zechariah. There's moments where we can be Mary. There are moments where we're the three Hebrew boys, and there are moments where we're the disciples in a boat. But the beautiful thing about that is that time keeps going and it keeps flowing and we grow. So I ask that you allow us to continue to grow, allow us to continue to experience you, but more importantly, focus on the relationship and take a moment sometimes to see how it may affect you, some of our responses. Bless us, keep us, and help us see another Water for the Thirsty episode. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen, amen. You were the right person to pray. That was the prayer we all needed tonight.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's why you get a designation. Bishop. Thank you, Jerry.
Yes, actually, yeah. Because even though we gave Zechariah a hard time, like the story kept going. Like it came out. So yeah, no, I feel that. Good luck, Sharika.
And that's what he needed to
Mm-hmm.
to get the fruitfulness.
That continuum, like it just, yeah.
You want to know how can you be sure? Yeah, you talk. Yeah, there's you go that.
Facts.
We have 5 Fridays in this month, so the next time we get together is on June 5th, so that's 3 weeks from now. So we're gonna have a little extra gap in between. So
hence why these lines should be sharper by then.
3 weeks. That's what you call 3 weeks.
She going real hard to be sure.
Yeah, she ain't playing.
All right. We continue to read out of our reading plan. It's available in the App Store and on the website. It's still not available for Google Play, but we're still working to try and figure that out. Every first and third Friday, 8 o'clock. Make great choices on purpose. even when you don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
I think with that, we're gone. Until next time,